A bit more about my life. I've had an interesting life. I, using that word interesting in the sense in which it is said, actually wrongly, that Chinese people, when wishing each other well or ill, say respectively, may you not live in, or may you live in interesting times. In that sense of the word interesting, but also the narrative, the story. Well, it hasn't ended yet. But if I just say, well, the story of my life from age 0 to this moment in time, the moment that I am actually making this second recording in the series of informal, improvised video talks about my life. That story has what you might call a happy ending. In other words, I'm feeling reasonably, well, not just reasonably, maybe unreasonably. I'm feeling unreasonably happy now. I have if you look at what happened to me in my life, I have every reason to be dead, clinically depressed, howling with agony, running away from myself because I can't face the terrors of what I've been subjected to, the tortures and all of that. But that's all gone. I've survived and healed, and I don't, this morning, was it this morning? Yes. One thing that's going a bit is my memory, but this morning I was walking along a street in Exeter, going from, if I remember rightly, I think I was going from A and heading for B, somewhere like that. You know the route. I can't remember the name of the streets now, but just look them up on a map. You'll see them. And I actually felt, I was walking along and just looking at the sky. It was nice, sunny, blue sky, pale English blue sky with little fluffy clouds in it. And there was a feeling of, I think you would call it happiness. It wasn't pleasure exactly. It wasn't sort of something that was happening as a result of something specific. Although looking at the sky, I did notice how beautiful it was. But then one does notice how beautiful the sky is or a flower is, even if one's feeling sad. One can still appreciate the beauty and see and perceive it, and because the beauty is there, whatever one feels, within certain limits. If you're in acute pain, you can't even really look at it and notice it and experience it. But I was not only not in acute pain, I was just wandering around, reasonably physically okay and not suffering from any frightful disease. And happiness is an interesting quality. You don't feel it that often. Let's say I don't feel it that often, but most of the time I'm cheerful. But happiness is something else. I think you do feel it, like most emotions. You do feel it in the gut. That's almost the seat of the emotions. You feel it down there in your stomach somewhere. but it doesn't feel as localized. It doesn't feel, it feels as though it's like that. It does tend to happen more when I'm out walking, and there's something about out walking outside, being outside, because I think the human being, all of us, our body, our genetic makeup was evolved in, well, it's nature, it's part of nature, evolved in intimate contact with nature for billions of years, from the higher apes, so-called higher, we're no higher than any other species. In fact, we've got absolutely nothing to feel superior to any species, from lion to squirrel, from worm to vulture. There's a kind of intrinsic, non-political, factual, biological, given by creation, by which I don't mean God, but life given, equality amongst all the species, from nematode worm to tiger. And we are all part of that. And I think animals probably feel happy. They're conscious. As long as they're not an oppressed domestic pet. I can remember, I won't talk about that now. I'll talk about that next time. I'll talk about that another time. I'm not going to promise what I'm going to say next time, because these videos are completely, I just switch it on and say what comes into my head. That's what I've done. But they will develop, I think. They will develop in a kind of, not logical, but in a kind of progression. And what I want to finish this one by saying is that I will repeat that I've had an interesting life, and I wanted to write about it, and I have tried to write, to begin, and with the idea of continuing, a prose autobiography in short chapters. I wrote the preface, posted it on Facebook, upset my family really badly because of what it revealed, something they didn't know. And I've written a little bit more, but I don't think I'm going to continue with that for now. I'm going to do these series of informal, improvised videos, and I'm going to write a series of poems. The kind of poem that I've put more time into writing and learnt more about how to write and about the process of writing and how you can put meaning into writing and mull over it and let the meaning and the subject matter and the words interact with each other, facilitate this interaction until you get a short piece which says what you want it to say and doesn't say or imply anything that you don't want it to say or imply, as far as you can tell. I've written one, and I will perhaps read some of these in amongst the videos. No, I won't. I shall do separate videos of the poems, just the poem. Yeah, these will just be, I'll just witter on, okay? Bye for now.